I don't like this. There we go. Why is it good there? There we go. Now, perfect. All right. All right. So for anyone watching and just tuning in, I just got my phone set up for live stream. You're seeing me on the gimbal right now. We are setting up for filming my goal is to do a kind of a tent setup for a YouTube video. So I got my tent somewhere over here. And I think the goal is, I can fuck around with the camera while I'm back here. The goal is to take this tent, set it up, film it. But first, if you can't tell, my filming area is a little dusty. So first thing we're going to do is do some cleanup for our area. And then we're going to get set up for filming. The dog is going to stay here, entertain you guys. So enjoy the dog. Get your butt out of the camera. All right. You can go get the other dog. Come on, let's go. Come play with us. Hey, get in my way. Be nice. All right. Okay. So here's my cleaned off area. I'm gonna put you down right there. Frame this, get out of the frame, get out of the frame, get out of the frame. Perfect. All right, get up. So I got 2 cameras. Tripod. I don't think I brought enough gear out. Let's go inside real quick. Go grab a tripod stand. To my wonderful, beautiful house. Stay here. All right, I'm back. Stupid. Filming stuff and having cans around is stupid. All right, got that. So, we want this sucker on. Let me film this backwards so I can see my face. Why? Why does it do this? Okay. Got the this is the Canon Rebel T3i. It's a couple years old, so I'm going to get it up and running. Okay. Just need to adjust for thinking a wide angle shot right here, and I got my microphone so it can pick up some external audio. It's zoomed out, so the goal is it'll shoot me setting up the camera. I'll have my DJI tracking me. You guys are going to watch from the side. So I have I have a handheld for the mini, as you can tell. Okay, I have the DJI. I'll get that running. I'll operate that as the... I should probably put that on the tripod now that I think about it. I'm gonna do this. Now we should be able to. There we go. Okay. There's that. Twist. Okay, that's on. Let's get this sucker ready for handheld use. All right, we got handheld set up. And then I got, do a mic test real quick. Turn this sucker bad boy on. So I got the DJI Mic 2, and this will transmit my clipped lapel mic to the DJI Osmo. And then I think what I want to do, double check that it's synced up. Nope. Okay. The transmitter is paired. So I'm good to go on starting recording. And I got my my tent out here. So let's put this to action. All right, we are recording. All right, recording on handheld, and we are going live on the camera. And actually, what I can do is, we're gonna do this first. So I'm gonna pull that out. There. All right. I got flip you. Guys, give you a face shot real quick. Bear with me. You guys can see this. All right. right, we are live on the Osmo. All right. Welcome. This is my first tent tutorial. So what I got here today is the REI Air It 2. It's a two-person tent with dimensions as follows. Right there. Comes in a nice little black bag. Okay, I bought this used at REI. It's on sale on my eBay store. Bully's Flip and Find. I can get you some deals. I just ran a Black Friday sale at 18% off. I think I listed that sucker for like $380 or so. So it's a cool tent. I'm going to walk you guys through on how to set this sucker up. So what comes in the tent for beginner tent purposes is a couple things. First thing you're going to get is a tent carrying bag with instructions, okay? But we're dudes here, so we don't need that, okay? So throw that to the side. Honestly, I'm just gonna keep it clean, okay? Next couple things. I have it all rolled out right here. We're gonna roll it out. What I essentially have tacked away in the tent is the one main tent body and then the rain fly. And if you're ambitious, Penny, go. If you're ambitious, then you can get a REI sells custom footprints for the tents. I don't have one for this one. I couldn't find one. This one was purchased with the intention of reselling on eBay, not for personal use. Okay, so I do not have a rain fly for this. But so first step of opening up the tent out of its cover. Glide, do not knock over my can. You're going to roll this sucker back out. Fluff it out. In the middle, you have another bag, okay? I keep, the long one is the tent stakes, or the short is the tent stakes for securing down. It comes with various, let me show you. In the pouch. And dump it all out. I like to just make a mess when I'm out there. Okay? You get a nice little ultralight polyester case, right size for the stakes. I don't think these are original to the tent. They may be, not quite sure, but it's what was purchased with it. So you have an extra probably 5 feet of tie down line, okay, with a little cinch down stuff, okay. Since I'm setting up in the garage here, we don't necessarily need that, okay. But in the right here is for tie down purposes. To the guys watching in live, here is the tie down straps, okay. Throw that off to the side. Here's a simple tent stake, okay. You're gonna come with a lot of them. In this one, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pretty standard for 4 corners plus the middle of a tent. Or if it's circular dome shape, then you have enough for multiple corners. Most tents are either like a rectangle, square, some kind of dome shape. This one's a kind of like a oblong, squished potato shape, I would say. But I think it's really cool because what it does, it gives you a lot of headroom and a lot of feet room instead of restricting you. But it gives you more room for the feet and the head, but it takes away from kind of the side space, essentially. So that's the sacrifice. But for an ultralight two-person tent, it's not too bad. So since 6 stakes, if you're in kind of nice, solid dirt, these come in useful. If you're in terrain that doesn't really have solid dirt to spike into, like rocks, ice, things like that, that's what the tie downs come with, why that's there. Okay, so 6 stakes. For the purpose of filming in my driveway, we don't need that. Next thing is a little tube. This is a repair tube. Okay, so if anything ever breaks on the flexible poles, you have a nice little repair tube. Again, for those on live, that's what that looks like. Nice little repair tube. You slide this down on one of the legs, and it will, you secure it, you can tape it to the break point, and it will help bind it together, give it some extra support. It's not going to be the cure for the tent, but it'll help repair it moderately. Okay, next things you need. Long. In the long pouch is the main body. Okay? In the same kind of yellow polyester pouch, nice super ultralight. If you wanted to skimp on weight, if you were like an ultralighter, there's different methods. A lot of guys take things out of the main primary pouch. They compress things smaller, spread the weight around to different things. You can't really compress the steaks, but you can take them out of the pouch, tie them down to a pack, get them out of that sack and out of this material, and just strap it down, put it off to the side so it frees up some space in the pack. Those are options for you. So this is what they look like compressed. They're multicolored, and the reason REI does that is so it helps you for directional identification. So that comes in handy. This tent stake has a nice little feature. I'll point it out a little bit more when we get there, but it doesn't have a, there's different kind of styles of how tent stakes kind of anchor into the tent. And there's been a lot of changes over the years. There used to be just solid poles that would just force into like a little web sleeve, and then you would clip everything and it would force the structure in. Now everything kind of loose snaps, and then you just snap it to everything. This one has like a little hybrid of both, so I'll showcase that when we get there. But here's the main body. Next thing we needed to do is separate the main body from the rainfly. So I like to contain the rainfly within the main body, so it's in the middle here. Just gonna flop it out. This looks like backwards, so let me spin it around for it. Okay. Yellow piece is gonna be the rainfly. Same material as the web bag. Nice little pretty orange polyester. Very, very thin material. It's all very, very nicely stitched and seamed together. Everything's really pretty and new on this sucker. So I found no issues with this tent so far, all the times I've set it up. So for rainfly, we don't need that just yet at this stage. So set that off to the side. What I like to do when I set up my tents, camera, I'm over here, find me. Hello, can you see me? Camera, did you give up on live? Recording still. Live, you're gonna look at my mug again. Okay. So now I changed the orientation. As you guys saw on the live, what I did, go away from my camera gear. Go, I love you. Stay away from my camera gear. When you're actually out setting up tents, you actually do want to think about your ground, right? For the purpose of setting up this tent, I'm in my driveway, so I don't have to worry about it. I'll just clean it off for cleanliness. But like this slope, you wouldn't necessarily want to sleep on this slope. It could be kind of annoying. If you are sleeping on a slope like this, you want to make sure your head is kind of uphill. Otherwise, if you're sleeping with your head downhill, all the blood rushes to your head. You get lightheaded throughout the night, and it gets kind of frustrating. It's hard to sleep with that sensation backwards. So you always want to have, if there is a slope that you can't manage, put yourself uphill. It's like being reclined in a nice little recline chair. So if I was out in the field, I would make sure my head is over here, feet facing that way. with this kind of slope. Okay, so here's the main body. I'm going to show it on the handheld. So what the main body looks like. Let's see if I can... My exposure on this is really... There we go. Darken it up a little bit. It's an overcast day today. Okay, darken it up. All right, so here's what the main body looks like. In the front is going to be where your main body clips. Okay, so at each 4 corners of this tent, you're going to have clips. On the front, I have this style with a little loop ring. This snap is for the ring fly. I'll show you how everything operates. Okay. It's got this push-through seam. Okay, it goes all the way to the cross corner. Same thing from that end, goes all the way to the cross corner. And then in this, remember how I said this one's got a nice little hybrid? Instead of having a little pin punch in style, okay, it's just got that termination sleeve. So this catches the post after you've shoved it all the way through this little material container for the ribbing. You push the material up and it's going to create shape. So I'm going to show you how that operates right now. Okay, next step after laying out the tent and figuring out the orientation, set up the poles. These ones are easy because they're all self-contained. Okay, nice one solid piece. This is not multiple poles. This is one solid piece. For the camera looking, you got various splitting attachments. You got multi-colors. As you'll see, it'll all start kind of piecing together the more I start wiggling everything around. You start bending the posts like that. Like that. For the live, you start moving the posts around. This is all one. Okay, remember, maybe I was wrong. 2 solid pieces. Normally for the REI tents, that's 2 pieces. I was definitely mistaken. Life corrected that. All right. 4 pieces. Rainfly. Black. End points. And so I have a small and a big. And 1 piece. If this was one of my other tents, this would be 1 solid piece. I'm not wrong. I'm just wrong on this tent design. Hey! Shh. Quiet. Okay. So I got 2 poles. Show for the camera. Little ball sockets. That's for the little plug-in style. Right? I didn't show you. So the green push is going to go here, and the black is going to go fish all the way through. So for this design, I essentially have to force the black end through this little opening right here. Okay? We're going to do that right now. And since this doesn't have the little ball snap socket here, like this one does, right? This snaps nicely into there, but you have to shove the stake all the way through this collar, terminate at the end, and it's going to give the tent its shape. So for shove through, it's really easy. Grab the material, stick this tent stake in, keep tension on this tent material, and just push. Right, when you get to a point where it kind of snags, I like to shuffle down. So it hasn't snagged yet, or it has. Get to this point and then just keep shoving. Keep one hand tensioned on the tent, one hand just pushing the tent through. At this point, it doesn't matter if you rumple up the tent. We're trying to get the ends terminated first, and then we're going to put pressure on the tent stakes and create some shape. Okay, so now I'm going to do the second one. Put on this end. Oh, so much work. Fish through, push. Push, 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 push. Push. Now I'm stuck. Slide on down. Old school tents would have that opening pop out, and then you would terminate it into here, some kind of webbing to hold and contain it. This one keeps it all contained. It's all nicely stitched right here. Okay, nicely stitched right here. So this tent stake doesn't actually leave this little container piece. It just terminates out at the end on this end. So this catches it all. It's all housed on a nice little tough material. Okay, it's supposed to help with speed. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is put pressure on the tent, and it's going to create some form. Let me make sure everything's in frame. So for creating body, it's quite easy. In an old school method like this, that doesn't have like clip-ons, with this material right here, what you want to do is just grab the material, push the tent stake as far as you can. Let the thing bend, let the tent flex. Just keep tension on the material. What you want to do is force the stake, the tent material, the body, or what you want to call it. Keep the material taut, keep pressure on the actual pole. And then we're just going to clip it in like that. Okay? So, show the camera what happened there. Put tension through. Let it fall right now, right? Because I don't have the second body to tension. And I snap that into play. Okay, now on the opposite side. This can flop over now. All right, again, grab the material back here. Force the stake into the material. Okay, keep tension on. See how we're creating an arc. Grab that little end, and this snaps nicely into there. So that's part of the body set up. Snapped in. Nice little framing. Hooks underneath there. Nice and flexed. There's that, and there's the main opening. Okay, so next piece. Now we have, for the rainfly shape, we have an arc for the big, arc for the small. Judging from the design, I'm thinking big goes up front, small in the back. So it'll fit something like this. Okay? Now this one has a little ball socket. Okay, so we're looking for a clip with two ends ball sockets. And since this doesn't have any material or any other snap-ons, it might snap on here. So I'm assuming the tent's going to snap to this after we've gotten the 3 endpoints taken care of. So I'm thinking that ball socket and that point right here are going to snap to here on the tent at the bottom, through there, or not, above probably. That bend point's probably going to snap to there in the middle. And then the second one's going to come across and terminate there. Okay? So this one's the little one. We're going to do the little one first, since that's the one I grabbed. Put everything down, dummies. Like that? Yeah, it does. Okay, don't be afraid to let posts fall down. Right? Once you're in at your main endpoints, let it flex, and then stretch the material of the tent body to fit. So what I did there, little ball socket there, clips in, runs across, clips in here to create a nice little A-frame. And it's got these two end snaps at this middle point. Zoom out. It's kind of the, you can see how that shoots across the tent. Okay, so that's where we're at now. Now we're going to do the big one. Same method as before. Find the endpoints. Keep pressure. When you've connected a tent stake, keep kind of pause the pressure. Doesn't need to be a lot to flex these things. Okay, just keep pressure, otherwise it flops out at the other end. Okay. So now its desires it wants to flop down. We're going to connect it here in the middle to kind of keep positive control on it. So now it'll stay. Then we're going to finish off these little snaps. Okay. So that's what it's doing. Down. Hard to do one-handed. All right, we're in. Okay. So if you're ambitious summer camper, you can literally end here. You're done. If you're an ambitious summer camper and it's hot as all hell, you could be done. I've camped like this plenty of times. And this tent actually does have a seam, I think, right here for creating like a little sunroof. Okay, so you can see the sky or not. Leaves it up to you. But yeah, if it's summertime, if it's hot, all you needed was just protection from bugs and stuff, you could be done right here. Okay, but since we have more things to do on the tent, I'm going to show you guys how to do rainfly. And it's very similar to the main body, so it's not overly complicated. All you have to do is just orient and snap. Pretty simple, same method. For the live viewers, hi, I didn't forget about you. Hi. You see a tent? There's a tent here. All right, rainfly. But first, Red Bull spray. Okay. Rainfly. Typically these things are the ends are either color coded. So you see this one's black and this one's blue. Without reading the instructions, if you look down here, blue and black, black. Use your brain, blue, blue, black, black. I think I can match these together. So that's one way of visual way to do that. Or, since this main body has one entrance, if we find the main entrance to the rainfly, sync it up to that, we can flop it over. So that's two methods. Use the rainfly's doors as a reference, or if it's got color coding webbing, use that. I'm going to use a little bit of both. What I like to do is just get everything centered at least a little bit. So when you anchor it